Okay, hello and welcome to Xaltius Spotlight, where we feature inspiring stories of transformation from our learners around the world.
Mhm.
So today we are joined by someone who making a bold move in the cybersecurity space. Please welcome Chris. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm good. I'm doing well.
Mhm.
hmm
Great, Chris. So thank you, Chris, for joining us today. Just a little bit about your background, please.
Uh, I think my background is quite uh, the best. I'll say the best in somewhat ways, because I've been groomed to a family that helps you educate in education and growth in character. So that also has been in the background of what I've become. So that helps me grow more. uh, to the point that when I decide to do something, it's either I do it without help or I may ask for it. So that also tends to become a stronghold in what most of us do in terms of careers and opportunities we get. Uh,
Okay.
and it differs with time because one can get something and then not work on it. One can get something and then work on it perfectly. That's all.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. So can you also tell about, your journey about Xaltius, how we helped you?
From the beginning, from the word go, when you get a chance to ask the questions about the school, you are approached by welcoming staff. And then when you start your classes, you have mentors, or I say mentors right now, who can help you through the classes, who help you when you're stuck with something that you want to do. So it tends uh to become a like a family. You're in a family setting, so you tend to grow more with every aspect of what you're learning and what you're basically going through. And it differs with what you're studying, because the different times you have to understand that your class schedule is a bit different from, let's say, from a person, because we had different people from every side of the world. So you have to understand the timelines of who you're studying with and what you're studying. So that also comes in handy, because in the field you're going to work in, it also matters, because you might be told to do work in a timeline that is not favorable to you. So that also makes sense
It does,
in
it does.
somewhat.
So,
Yeah.
okay, got your point. Great. I mean, see, so why do you choose Xaltius exactly? I mean, how do you feel about it?
I think the understanding of what you're taught and how they show you how things are done in the marketplace. So how things are done in the office, how workspace works, how different you're given examples in real life. So like the the class on ethical hacking. So we had like three examples that were happening in real life. The Malaysia hack, some
Mhm.
take down on some US websites that taken down. So you have experiences seeing what's happening in real life. So learning in, in the classes, it's also favorable to someone who doesn't have the time, because it's scheduled for 2 days and then the timeline is fitting for you who is working from Monday to Friday. So you have every right to attend the classes, because lack of means you miss out on very important details that are given. That's what I can say.
So,
Mhm.
so let's talk about the course. I mean, what topics you covered, and what do you think about that?
The course itself, cybersecurity as a whole, is a very interesting course.
Hmm.
It opens your mind to the real life things that are happening in the world in terms of technology. and you get a breakdown of what may be the next big thing or may not be the next big thing, because right now we're talking about AI being the next big thing, but in the background you have to understand it comes with security risks of either being hacked or being having many things, like the packets being stolen to be used by someone else for various ways. So you have to understand that the network itself, you are being taught to handle it the way you're taught to handle things. It differs with whatever industry you're going to get in, but majorly you have a stronger background in whatever you've been taught to understand whatever you're going to do in the next either 3 to 5 years or as long as you're going to do it. Because to many people, you tend to do a career based on a short-term goal rather than a long-term goal. Some careers tend to be a long-term investment. Like cybersecurity right now is a long-term investment to whoever is studying it right now.
It is, literally. So what were the tools or techniques you really enjoyed mastering in?
The techniques I learned is you have to be there's something you have to understand. You have to be a very good communicator in the classes, because you have to always be on time, because the lectures don't you can be having network issues, you can be having okay, let's say the network is bad for some time, but if you're on time, your classes will be, let's say, will be perfect for you. But if you are someone who doesn't have the right network resources, and then you're always late for classes, you will miss out on the most important packets of wisdom that are being passed on from the teachers, because most of the teachers are teaching from a point of experience, because
Exactly, yes.
you can't learn something that someone is not doing. That's also something. The techniques are majorly you when you're working with a group during the discussions, because sometimes you're given the discussion tends to open you up to whatever field most people are in. Because for my class, let's say for my class, most people were not in tech. Like for me, I was doing software development first, but I had to take a pause because of some issues. So understanding what field you are in at that time also guarantees you the grace of understanding the new field you're going to get in.
So how was your experience with the live sessions and our learning platform at Droid?
I think for someone who it's easy to understand a system, and someone who is learning, you keep on learning every day. Let's say it, you keep on learning every day. So learning should not stop from you from the point that you're introduced to something new. You have to understand that if that something new is new to you, someone else, it might be an old system, or it might be something he's used or she's used to. So the live sessions are fun. Let's put it that way. Yeah, they are fun.
They are fun.
Because they are fun because you tend to interact with people from different backgrounds and different countries.
Correct.
So yeah, so that also changes the perspective of what you think about what you're going to do. That's also one of the major reasons why you are told you have to be in a learning mode every day. So you can't be stagnant for the whole time that you're somewhere. So you have to open your brain to learn something new every day. So that also helps you to understand what you're learning.
So from learning, did you do any projects or something?
Yeah, the projects were done, yes, but the understanding of what you're learning in class also comes to play, because you
100%.
can't learn something and then not practice it. So you have to practice
True.
what you're learning in the classroom. So most of the time, you find that the projects are based on what you've learned in class. And majority of the time,
They,
you'll find that it's
Mhm.
easier with an understanding of what you learned in class than if you're going with a fresh brain of not you understanding anything. So that also helps you understand what the project is based on, and the timeline you're given will help you manage the projects and understand more on what you're doing.
So apart from projects, did those projects, did the classes, do you have you tried your new skills somewhere for a job interview, for a volunteer opportunity or somewhere?
I think right now for me it's I'm trying to understand a certain thing, a certain new thing I'm learning
Mhm.
externally from the classroom. I'm trying to learn something new.
Mhm.
And it might take time for me to say that I'll volunteer, but if it's something new I'm learning right now, based on what I've learned, I'll have to practice for some time before I volunteer. Because you, without practice, you tend to not sharpen your skills within the basis of what you've learned. So that
True.
also sharpening your skills with the practices, and then going back to rewatch the videos, because the recordings of what you have learned, going back to rewatch the videos, you tend to have you tend to have opened your eyes to another new thing, because you never learned that in class. But when you go back to the videos and then watch them, you tend to see another perspective of the same thing, but in a different mindset. That's all I can say.
Great, thank you. So
Mhm.
let's talk about our ecosystem. I mean, see, how was the interaction with the classes, other students? How was it?
The interactions were fun. That's one thing I'll say. The interactions within the students are fun.
Oh,
Let's
great.
not let's not put it. It's fun because you are people from different countries. You're people from different
Mhm.
continents, and then the you're merging in one place. Because let's say you know something that someone doesn't know, so you have the freedom to ask the question and then
Mhm.
explain it to them in a better way. So you tend to find that someone is learning from you, while you also learning from the other person. So it tends to opens you to a perspective that I might not know something, but someone in the class might know
So that.
something good. So
Mhm.
that also opens you up to the idea of not everyone is or going to teach you the same thing. So you have to teach someone in order to be taught something new. That's all I
Correct,
can say
correct.
about it.
So is it safe to say that you enjoyed the classes, you have fun in, or the sessions, apart from learning? You learned a lot, that I can say, but you had fun, right?
I think interactions make friends. I think you tend to
Yeah.
make friends. You tend
Hmm.
to grow as a person. You tend to understand the character of the people you're learning with. So you tend to make friends. You tend to enjoy the sessions with the people you having with. So that also changes your perspective on the limitation of you being the only person who is learned. So you find
Mhm.
out that the people who are more learned than you, so you tend to open up on what you've learned. So that also gives you a chance to explore more areas of what you've learned. So the classes were fun. Let's say they were fun. But when it comes to this discussions, you find that someone is working in a different field that uses the same technology, but also gives you a perspective of, let's say, one of our one of my fellow students was a teacher. He worked
Oh,
in a school. So that gives you a perspective of how the systems in a school work, and then you give them the systems of a tech person how they work. So that also grows you to understand that it differs, because you might today be working in tech, tomorrow you might be working in a hospital, tomorrow you might be working in a school, all the same, but in a different setting you might have to change some things, because you'll have to also understand what they are thinking. That's what I can say about the classes.
Thank you. So, Chris, what is next? I mean, are you going to pursue some advanced certification in cybersecurity, or what next?
For now, I'm planning on advancing myself, because if I don't, it tends to be to hold you back. If you don't do it in the right time, you tend to fall out. That's what I can say. It's a fallout, because without practice, without advancement, because in advancement you get the right certifications. Like we have the school certifications, and then we have the institutions that help cybersecurity engineers, networking engineers. So you tend to grow more when you're getting the advancements of your education and what you need. So it also helps you understand the market and what is needed. So, like for this case, you one who is doing right now, like if you tend to go on a specific niche of like networking, red room or blue room, so you tend to become a specific person. So that also gives you a niche, but you tend to, let's say, grow yourself. But in that growth, you have to advance and understand what that market gives in that time and
Correct.
period. Mhm.
Correct. So finally, Chris, what advice would you give to someone who is considering taking the first step into cybersecurity, but they still have some doubts? So, according to your experience, what advice would you give?
I think it comes from a place of being bold. The first steps come from a place of being bold, because
True.
if you're bold enough, you will understand that not everyone is going to take you there. So if you're not bold enough, you'll have to be scared. So that being scared comes from a place of you not understanding what's new and what's going to be new for you. If you have people who are close to you and they tend to push you, family tends to push someone to a point of, I need to learn something new. I need to be somewhere. I need to have something. I need to learn something. I need to learn some new skill. I need to learn something. So you tend to develop some skills that within no time, they are needed, but the time you're learning, you didn't know. So you tend to, let's say you tend to step into murky waters, because murky waters are very unstable. So that's what I can say. Being a person who goes into murky waters every time, it also helps.
Okay, thank you so much for your kind words. Yes. So thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Chris, for sharing your journey. It's been pleasure
Mhm.
to having you here. So we are
Thank
proud to be a part of your journey. Thank you so much.
you. Mhm.
Okay, so to our viewers, if Chris' story inspired you, you are ready to explore your potential in cybersecurity, don't wait. Book your free consultation with Xaltius Academy today and start building your future with Intech. Until next time, the host, Priya Sharma, signing off, Xaltius Spotlight. Thank you.